We don't do that here.
But the cream rises to the top.
Oh, baby. I think I started the last one with ultimate effing casual. So this one is the ultimate fucking casual. We're getting dirty on this one. Because it's a little bit of a light schedule for this week. So, oh man, how you guys feeling?
Excellent.
Feeling
Excellent.
good, but a little mixed still on the result of the boxing fight we witnessed just yesterday.
Excellent. Still
mulling over that interesting decision.
Yeah. So, if you didn't see if you didn't, like, shame on you, because it was free. Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol fought for the undisputed light heavyweight championship. That's 175 over on the boxing side. It was a majority decision. There was one card that was a draw, and the other two were 7-5 for Artur Beterbiev, and then 8-4 for Beterbiev as well. I'm not sure. I admittedly haven't seen the first few rounds, but from what I can gather, it was going pretty similarly to what I saw in the latter half. And I don't know where Beterbiev was winning 8-4.
Before we jump into the controversy of it, I will say, regardless of the decision, that was probably one of the best title fights I've watched in a long time. As far as a two-way, high-level technical boxing match, I'll go as far as to say that was the best one since Canelo Golovkin won.
That is a good one. Yeah.
As far as high-level boxing on both sides, like, that was it. Like, that's what we should be expecting from an undisputed title fight. So it was an amazing fight. It was really close, but I don't know about the decision. I really don't know about it. Really, it's just a 116-112 card.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem.
Because, like, I scored the fight live as a draw, and I feel like if I could have gotten to a draw, it doesn't take that much more. Like, I'm not going to lose sleep over Beterbiev getting the nod there if it really was that close. But that one card is a little suspect. You're really having to really weight a lot of your judging criteria toward what Beterbiev was doing to get that.
Doesn't seem right to me anyway.
Yeah, just to echo off of what Nathan said. Again, high-level boxing, if someone asks me what high-level boxing looks like, this is a textbook example. Amazing undisputed fight. I scored the fight live. I had it. I had two possible cards because I had one swing round. I would have been fine with anything from a draw up to I believe it was 8-4 to Bivol. And I saw the punch stats, and I know punch stats don't really hold a lot of weight in terms of accuracy, but they were really skewed towards Beterbiev. And when I say that, I mean Beterbiev was landing a lot on the gloves of Bivol. And that's not saying that they weren't damaging, because even Bivol admitted after the fight that he was feeling, massive blows, even through the guard. It felt like Beterbiev's hands were like going through his face. So I had it pretty easy Bivol win, and I thought Bivol was going to get the nod. But then when I heard that last card, 116-112, I was like, oh, okay. If it's 116-112, I feel like that has to be Bivol.
You'd think, right?
Yeah. That's what I thought too. That's what I thought too. I'm really surprised after that it was not the case.
Yeah, and then they said Beterbiev, and I don't know. I mean, I think, like I said, I would have been fine with the draw, because this is like one of those fights. No one really blew anyone out of the water. They both had their own moments. Bivol, we got to see his really high IQ boxing. There was a few mishaps. One of the things I was talking about was, in certain instances, Bivol was deciding to trade with Beterbiev, which I don't know exactly what was going through his mind. If he thought he could really hurt Beterbiev. That wasn't quite the smartest, but we did see Bivol implement his game plan pretty well. His footwork, the jab was just excellent. The jab was excellent, especially through the first half of the fight. And then Beterbiev, man, he was we were talking about his injury and his age coming in, but he looked fresh, man. Beterbiev looked fresh. The footwork was not bothering his knee at all. He was cutting off the ring quite well, and then his punch selection. I mean, there were certain times throughout the fight where he was battering Bivol against the ropes. The decision, especially the 116 to 112 card, has sort of left a sour taste in my mouth. But I think regardless, even with the Bivol, if it would have been a Bivol win, I think that's one of those we have to see a rematch. We have to.
Absolutely. It seems like they're both interested in doing it or willing to do it, and I imagine that fucking turkey milkshake is gonna set it up.
Turk said he wants to put it on.
Of course he does.
Yeah.
So the money is going to be there for it.
I gotta say though, please don't. I mean, I know I'm saying this knowing it's probably gonna be in Saudi Arabia still.
But don't do it in Saudi
please
Arabia.
don't do it in Saudi Arabia. That atmosphere there is so dead.
Yeah.
Like they are not excited about boxing like the rest of the world is.
The crowds that they stick in there are being done like they're being put there at gunpoint. They're like, you sit in this crowd and you fill these seats so we look good.
And you cheer.
None of them care. Like they don't know when to cheer. It's like, oh wow, Bivol just landed a 7-punch combination and the crowd goes mild. It's like,
yeah, and they probably had like up on the jumbotron, like a little cheer symbol in the corner, like talking about everyone cheer now.
Oh, they got the
like almost in a
applause
robotic sense. Yeah,
like a sitcom.
Yeah, it did not feel like. I mean, if that was in Las Vegas, that place would have erupted multiple times throughout the fight.
Yeah, like the moment where Beterbiev hurt Bivol to the body, like in round 8 or something.
Oh goodness.
Oh my god!
I thought he was gonna get him on the ropes and just wail on him. I was like, no, Dimitri, no, not like this.
There was one point as well where Bivol cracked Beterbiev, and Beterbiev like showed up. But like he immediately responded and was able to crack Bivol right back. And I mean, obviously, Beterbiev's shot is going to do way more. But that was, I mean, it was like a little 3-second moment where they were both like pretty stunned. If that was in Las Vegas or MSG, the crowd would have erupted. And I mean, Saudi Arabia, it just does not have a crowd that type of fight deserves.
I have to issue a correction. Regardless, I think the point really is the same, that a draw, I could see that happening. 115, 113, either way, sure. But I don't know how you get to 116, 112. Unless Beterbiev lands a solid punch, that's a 10-8 round. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of like ex-boxers and analysts, at least from what I was seeing online, the majority of them thought that Bivol won. I mean, just off the top of my head.
It looked like he did.
Like Andre Ward, I think Sean
Porter. Of course, Andre's going to say that.
Yeah, Andre Ward, I feel like we can't really use him as much with his
That'd be like Kovalev saying Beterbiev definitely won. Like, of course he
his
did.
dodgy decisions.
Yeah.
But I think it was another. Sergio Mora, I guess, was another one I saw. I think Devin Haney was like one of the only few I saw saying that Beterbiev won.
Was Ryan Garcia in the corner saying, you better say Beterbiev? Goodness. I really don't want this in Saudi Arabia the second time. Put it in fucking LA near Bivol, or put it in Montreal where they do some pretty solid cards too. I know I'm definitely biased, but there is an excellent boxing conversation that's happening in this portion that had to be cut out due to time and to keep this on topic of MMA. If you consider yourself to be a hardcore boxing fan as well as MMA fan, I highly recommend going to patreon.com/LVXMediaNet. Get yourself signed up over there and you can hear the whole thing. Man, we've got a lot of boxing in there. In the news, the UFC 310 lineup was announced. It's a pretty stacked card, from what I can tell. A lot of star power on here, or combined star power. So from the bottom, moving up, Evloev versus Sterling. Is this at feather? Yeah, it's at featherweight. Luque versus... Which Diaz is this? I don't...
Nick. His older brother Diaz.
Okay. Is Nate the one that fought Jake Paul?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so Nick Diaz. Cyril Gane versus Volkov rematch. Pantoja versus Asakura. Asakura is new to UFC, from what I understand. This is his promotional debut, and he's already getting a shot at the title. Who the fuck is Asakura, and why does he get to jump the line?
So was the champ over at Ryzen. I think he was the double champ, if I'm not mistaken. But he's basically their promotion's number one guy. Kickboxer / Muay Thai sort of style is what I've gathered from the highlights I've seen. I can sort of see why they're making this title fight immediately, is because flyweight really desperately needs an injection of new talent, and they need it at the top now. So Dana is trying to execute Pantoja here. He's trying to get him out of there.
A question about the double champ status for Asakura, because Ryzen is a multi-sport promotion like ONE FC. Is he a double weight champ or double sport?
I want to say it's double weight, because he fights he was in bantamweight in Ryzen, which is the flyweight equivalent.
Yeah. So
and it was a mixed martial arts, is what he fought in. It looks like
he's definitely like a striker. I mean, I feel.
Oh my gosh. He has a win over someone via first round soccer kick.
Yeah, I've seen some of his highlights. Whatever announced. I mean, I feel like it might be a pretty big jump for him. Like he has soccer kicks, knees to the head when they're on the ground. We might end up seeing him do like some illegal shot.
He gets a DQ.
Yeah, he ends up getting DQ'd. Oh, look at this. He has a loss to Manel Cap.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they got into a striking match a couple years ago.
That's fun.
Nice connection.
Yeah, that's a good built-in story. Israel, Adesanya, and AP kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm actually looking at it. He has a win and a loss against him.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
All right, so he does kind of rate a title shot here. And talking about him in a moment, Brandon Royval, after his win, said Pantoja or Asakura. He said, I'm going to go take that shit. Reference to the title. And headline, Bilal Muhammad versus Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Yes.
Is this a good one?
This is a really good fight.
Like,
this is a good fight. It's a really good fight.
Yeah. It's a good card overall, too. I feel like Luque versus Diaz might fall apart. But the other 4 fights are all like pretty elite. And Bilal versus Shavkat, man, we're finally seeing Shavkat get his shot. That is big, man. I feel like I might be saying it too early. Maybe Bilal surprises everyone, but I feel like you can go ahead and start to sound the violin for Bilal, because I really don't see how Bilal can beat Shavkat. Like this is, I don't know. I feel like Shavkat's just gonna eat him.
He has the wrestling defense and offense to kind of, I don't know if negate is the right word, but he's not gonna let Bilal just wrestle fuck him the whole way. And then Bilal's striking is all about, distance, and it's very jab heavy. And Shavkat is not only is he really good technically in those areas, but he also just beats the shit out of you. And then if he gets you on the ground, he's gonna submit you. He's something like 18 fights and 18 finishes, and it's like 10 submissions and 8 knockouts or something like that.
Yikes.
I mean, he's such a juggernaut. Like, if he gets his hands on this belt, he genuinely could go on, like, an all-time run. Like, I don't know who's beating him at welterweight.
I mean, I could really only think of a few people. I mean
there's
definitely going to be a lot of, maybe, man. I mean, the undefeated record. I mean,
with
just
solid
vicious
games.
in striking and the ground game. I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like, I think Nathan is right. If Shavkat gets his hands on this belt, on this belt, I feel like he sort of keeps it. There are a few matchups, like welterweight will probably become like one of the more interesting divisions, because you can do like he and Gary versus Shavkat. Later on down the line, maybe even like JDM versus Shavkat. I don't know. I feel like welterweight, if Shavkat wins, I feel like welterweight can get some life to it.
He is kind of one of these newer, it feels like a newer breed of MMA fighter where the standard is you have to be well-rounded. You can't just be a specialist and defend the title multiple times. And everyone else at welterweight is a specialist in some way or the other. And Shavkat's the only guy that's like strong everywhere. Like Kamara would be actually the only guy that is also well-rounded because he really built up his striking, but he's been out for so long. It's like, what state is he even in right now, you know?
Yeah. I don't even know how you begin to make a game plan for the Shavkat fight. I mean, like, Bilal has Khabib in his corner, and Khabib is a pretty good coach. But, I mean, Shavkat's one of the more well-rounded fighters, like, in this division and maybe even overall in the UFC. Like, I don't know how you game plan for him. You have to do some very, very deep tape study to find weaknesses for him.
I think it would be like kind of a lay and pray strategy. Like, you get him down, and then you be as conservative as possible in guard, right? Don't get caught in an armbar, don't get caught in a triangle. But that's assuming that you're going to be able to hold him down. And we'll see. I don't think Bilal's strong enough to do that.
Do you think like a Marab type approach, where you just sort of like keep shooting takedowns?
Yeah, I mean, that is
Pressure.
like that is sort of Bilal's general game plan, right? Is to overwhelm me with volume. So he's probably going to stick with that, but he has to be so risk averse in this fight that, I mean, that could backfire on him.
Yeah, I mean, like, Shavkat has the standing like guillotine choke. Like, I think he beat Jeff Neal. I think he beat Jeff Neal with a standing guillotine.
Wow.
So I mean, I don't know. Shavkat's a deadly opponent.
All this hype you guys are putting up now, Bilal's gonna like knock him out in the first round or something.
Oh,
I'm gonna throw myself off my balcony if,
that would
if
be,
he gets
like,
knocked
that
out
would
in
be
the
really
first
sad.
round.
That would be so sad.
Ah,
That could actually make for a tragic year. Like if, Ilya knocking out Volk, Ilya knocking out Max, Bilal knocking out Shavkat. This could be a tragic year for the UFC, or for UFC fans more likely.
I've something I'm noticing is that a lot of MMA, particularly UFC fans, they've been watching for a while now. So they have a personal attachment to Max Holloway. I kind of don't, so I'm not really too fussed. Like if he gets sparked by Topuria, or if he sparks Topuria himself, I'm not really fussed. Either way, I don't know. I don't see. I don't have.
I'm sort of in the middle. I like Max. I like Volk, and I like him a lot. I mean, especially Volk. He was one of my favorite fighters, just from how active he was. He likes to cook. Just a really nice guy. But I also really like Topuria. So I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things like I just don't want to see. Like I want to see a good fight, but I don't want to see someone get like run over.
Oh yeah, nothing brutal.
Brutally knocked out. Yeah.
The real UFC titles are the friendships we make along the way. Anything more for the 310 lineup?
It's a good card. Very good card.
It looks solid. Okay, moving into some recaps. On October 8th, week 9 of the Contender Series, there were a lot of knockouts on this one. Like, you can watch the entire card in like 10 minutes. There's just not a whole lot of fighting actually happening because people are just getting brutally beaten down. Fucking which one? Mario Pinto versus Lucas Camacho, sneaky little check hook. Dulatov versus Antunes that one was just brutal. But the one that I really wanted to take some time on was Artem Vakhitov stopping Islam Masraf. It's a light heavyweight fight. I had originally seen it billed as heavyweight, so I was a little curious on what was really happening, because Vakhitov did not look to be in as good a shape as, say, Alex Perreira tends to come in at. So I'm not sure I'll have to look into what the deal is, but otherwise he looked good. Dominated Masraf, so it looks like the AP storyline is going to get put into gear.
Yeah, that'd be a good fight to see. It was hilarious how whenever Dana White was announcing the contracts, Dana White mentioned how Perreira was there watching live at the Apex, and Alex himself went up to Dana White saying, give him the contract to Vakhitov. I thought that was a little bit funny. But
He
yeah,
wants
I
to
mean,
get it back.
there's
He wants to run it again.
some storylines there.
Yeah, absolutely. Just
I wonder how quickly they could fast track him to a title.
I think it's going to be tough. Coming from kickboxing, he's obviously a really good striker, but he struggled with even just stand-up grappling. He was having a little bit of difficulty. So some of these guys are fine, like Khalil Roundtree. That's an awesome style matchup. But Blachowicz, is that how you say it? Blachowicz? I think Jan.
Jan
Blachowicz. That's right. That would not be a good move right now. Johnny Walker, that's always a good time.
Man, another kid.
Yeah, it's curious. It is a good question of how quickly can they fast track him, because I don't know. He's gonna have to work a lot more on his grappling.
Yeah, and it can't be that long either. Like, they can't wait for him because Alex isn't exactly young either at the moment. Maybe we'll see the fight, maybe not. But I mean, we'll see how fast they're able to fast track him. I don't think this will be a similar, like, we won't see another Alex type fighter in him.
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. There are some good hops you can make moving up the light heavyweight ladder. Start off with Alonzo Menifield. When's the last time I seen him fight? Or Anthony Smith's always a fun outing for anyone.
Man, Anthony Smith. Yeah, I mean, I think a Johnny Walker eventually, like, you can't like match him. He has to fight it like once or twice before. But eventually, like, a Johnny Walker fight I feel like that would be on the table, just because Walker is one of those like tall strikers. There's definitely a few fun fights that they can make.
Yeah, there's upside here. All right. Moving on to Fight Night on the 12th. I did not see a lot of these. So I'm going to, just from the bottom up, stop me if you need to. Clayton Carpenter submits Lucas Rocha in the second. Flyweights, Cody Haddon versus Dan Argueta. Cody gets a UD at bantamweight. Julia Pilastri split decision over Corey McKenna at straw. Junior Tafa, KO2, Chris Barnett, heavyweights.
Oh, I think for this one, they ended up changing Chris Barnett out like last minute for another guy called Sean Sharoff.
Yeah,
I think Chris.
I fucking changed it on the website and I didn't copy it over.
Yeah, I think they were saying like Chris Barnett was affected by one of the hurricanes.
Yikes!
So that's why he couldn't make it. But I mean, he already has a fight lined up. So.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
So yeah, Junior Tafa gets a stoppage in 2. Tempa Gorimbo, UD over Nico Price at welterweight. Pat Sabatini submits Jonathan Pierce at featherweight in the first. Ramazan Temirov, KO1 over CJ Vergara, flyweights. All right, into the main portion. Daniel Rodriguez gets the split decision over Alex Morono. I wonder, will you continue in the UFC? It's been a bit of a skid for Morono.
Yeah, we'll see.
Grant Dawson, KO2 over Rafa Garcia at lightweight. Chidi Njokuani, UD over Jared Gooden. Fucking Chun Yung Park, split decision over Brad Tavares at middleweight. Chun Yung Park, the Iron Turtle. I saw a part of this one, and it did, I don't know, split decision kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it was like good.
It was fine.
Nice scrap.
Yeah.
Decent scrap, yeah.
And in the main event, Brandon Royval wins by split decision over Tatsuro Taira, flyweights. Man, that was a good fight.
That was a crazy fight.
Really, really good.
Crazy fight.
It's like, I think at the end of one of the rounds, Taira had Royval in a near submission for like a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the 5th, Royval had Taira in a near submission for like a minute. It was pretty wild.
Yeah, we get to learn a lot about Tatsuro Taira.
Yes,
like he has like serious dog in him. The way he grabs your back and locks in the body triangle.
Oh
It's
my.
outrageous.
Yeah.
It's outrageous how fast he can get there and
It's
how
like a
strong
monkey
he is in that
scrambling on a tree, the way he gets
Yeah.
onto your back.
he just slides right in. Royval, especially in the later rounds, I mean, we knew he had dog even before this fight, but man, he was piecing Taira up on the feet, landing some really nice shots. I think it was in round 3 where he almost had Taira out of there. He had like hit a knee on Taira as Taira was like shooting a takedown, and it hurt him pretty bad. And I mean, then he was piecing him up on the feet as well. I mean, this got a fight all around, and you got to see, the full spectrum of MMA. Like we got to see clinch, we got to see the stand up, grappling, scrambles. It was very nice. It was a great fight. But yeah, I agree with the decision. I thought Royval won.
Yeah, it was super
3-2
close, but
on my
it
part.
wasn't unfair or anything.
Yeah.
I think Royval did put it pretty nicely, saying Taira like has exactly what it takes to be very successful in UFC, and it seems like I think they mentioned that they knew each other before before this fight for some time, so it seems like they were pretty friendly.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really see this that often, but Royval in the post-fight interview, he was really high on Taira, man.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he was saying, like, I thought I was going to steamroll him in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be out of here before the first round. Yeah. I remember.
But, I mean, he's saying this dude is going to be champion, and, he can come train with me whenever he wants, or if he needs a ride
You need
anywhere.
a place to stay in
Yeah,
Colorado.
like, whatever I think he said, like, verbatim, whatever I can do to help you become champion.
Yes.
Because, like, he said it with conviction as well, that Taira is gonna be champion one day. It's fair to say he's only 24 years old. I mean,
Right.
this is what you want to see.
Royval Moreno can't hang around forever.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want to see out of a young fighter. I mean, he took a good chance. I mean, this is a massive step up
Hell yeah.
for
it
Taira,
was.
and he looked good. He looked good. He was not getting blown out.
What was interesting is that the first 3 rounds super competitive, but this was Taira's first 5-round fight.
Mhm.
And it was in the 4th and 5th where Royval was able to have a lot more success, which I think is what ended up winning him the fight. So it is the last 2 rounds, in addition to, I think, the 3rd. That was a shaky one, but nonetheless. So Taira might just have been an experience thing. He's never had to fight the full 25.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, everyone should keep eyes on him.
Absolutely.
Whatever fight he has next, I feel like, he can only go up from me. At his age, he can only get better.
And he's at a position also where it won't take him long to be right back in a title shot. Flyweight right now is a little similar to, heavyweight, where, there's some elite guys right at the top, and then there's not a lot below that. And so if he's just able to win 2 more fights, he'll be eligible for another title shot.
And Asakura, another Japanese fighter coming over, could make for a fun story development.
UFC Tokyo,
I mean,
they won.
Hey, I'm all about it.
the very top of flyweight is actually very nice. I mean, we're getting Moreno versus Albazi, I think, like in November. Royval just fought. We have Pantoja versus Asakura. And then, I mean, Kaikara France is still there as well. I mean, he's looked a lot better. I think they could have a lot of fun matchups within the top 5.
Steve Urseg, I mean, he had a disappointing last performance, but we saw how well he was against Pantoja. I mean, I would consider him among the elites as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't
I think,
Nicolau
yeah,
just fight? Or is he?
Well,
Yeah.
I think he.
On the 19th, I believe.
That's right. He did fight on the 19th.
Yeah, you're right, though. Steve Urseg, he lost to Kaikara France, but, I mean, he just got caught. I mean, it just happens sometimes. Some good fights up here, too. And then, yeah, Manel Kopp as well, sort of in the mix.
Interesting character.
Yeah, Rip, what's his face? Muhammad Makayev.
Anything more for this fight night card? All right, on to the fucking big one. On the 26th, UFC 308. This is at the Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi. I don't know where the early prelims and prelims cut off?
On their website, I think it's just prelims and main card.
Okay. I
I'm
got
not
mine
seeing
from
both.
ESPN. They're usually more accurate than UFC on UFC information for some reason. Is there anything on here? Because I'm not seeing a whole lot. Jeff Neal versus Rafael dos Anjos at welterweight.
The Saeed Nurmagomedov fight,
Mm,
just Daniel Santos. That's just worth watching just because it's a Nurmagomedov.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the Eagle guys.
Yeah.
Just anyone, the Dagestani, Khabib, Islam Makhachev, I'm just calling them Eagles now. Abus Magomedov versus Bruno Ferreira. Bruno Ferreira is a pretty fun fighter, if I recall correctly. Usually just goes for knockouts.
Yeah.
A lot of these should be fun. I never know how to say his last name.
Nzechukwu.
Kennedy. Yeah, and Justin Tafa. That'll probably be a good fight. Probably ends in a KO.
I just saw that Tafa is out and they're replacing him with someone. Hold on.
Barnett.
The guy they're,
Oh yeah, Barnett. Yeah.
This is Barnett.
which is even better because Barnett's really fun to watch.
So there should be a
still
fireworks.
yeah, it should end in a KO still.
And Ismail Narudiev versus Bruno Silva. I think Bruno and Ferreira and Silva, I'm mixing them up. I don't know. They're both at middleweight. Yeah, and they're both Brazilian. I don't
This
know.
Renat guy as well. Yeah, Nicholas Dolby. I think he was fun from what I recall. Renat Fakret Dinov. Yeah. Definitely some fun fights in the prelims. Then.
Yeah, definitely. There's stuff to watch all the way through that should be enjoyable. Should be enjoyable.
Yeah. Jeff Neal and RDA.
The main card itself, though, is stacked the high heaven.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Like that's a
Beyond,
solid five fight slate.
So
We gotta
starting
hope
off,
Chimaev ain't on.
starting the main portion here. Shara Magomedov. This is the dude with the one eye.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and he just stepped in not too long ago against Ozdemir, I think.
Yeah. He's like fighting back to back almost.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep saying it till the day I die. Shara Magomedov looks like the angry leprechaun from the movie Luck of the Irish.
I could see it.
Magomed Ankalaev rated second at light heavyweight versus Alexander Rakic, rated fifth.
Massive fight.
Yeah, this is
Massive
what
fight.
AP's next sort of thing.
Yeah. This is basically for the next title shot.
Final
at light heavyweight.
eliminator. Excellent.
Yeah.
Lerone Murphy, 12th at featherweight versus 14th Dan Ige.
That's a scrap.
Good to
Wasn't a
see
scrap.
that he's on more than 3 hours notice. Co-main, Robert Whitaker versus Khamzat Chimaev, 3rd and 12th at middleweight respectively. Don't let that double digit fool you.
Massive fight.
This is
Monster.
it's big.
This could headline. Yeah, this could headline.
And this is a situation of Whitaker just deciding to be a badass and saying, I'm not going to fight something easy, or I'm not just going to sit and wait for my shot. How about instead I beat up the cum shot?
Hey.
Yeah. Whitaker is like sort of in that position because he's like, especially with Izzy, being champion, and he had like 2 fights against Izzy. And he lost to Dricus. He's sort of taken that approach where he just said to himself, I'm going to make myself undeniable
Yeah.
for the title shot. I'm going to make it so they literally have no other option but to give me the title shot. And man, if he beats Khamzat, I really don't know.
Who else could it be?
Yeah. He has beat up, Khamzat, which no one wanted to fight. And in his last fight, the other Russian dude, it was Aliskerov, Ikram Aliskerov.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he fought Costa as well. This is going to be his 3rd fight this year. And the lineup was Costa, Ikram Aliskerov, and now Khamzat. Like, that is actually a pretty...
You cannot
crazy.
deny that.
Yeah, I don't know who else. I feel like even if he doesn't get the title shot immediately, he shouldn't really have to fight anymore. His next fight, even if he waits, should be for the title.
He has to fight the winner of Duplessis and Strickland.
Yes.
It would be criminal if he wasn't given a shot after that.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
set Imavov up with the
But-
loser.
You know, he's
Hmm?
maybe, but here's the thing. You know, he actually has to win this fight.
Yeah, I was
which,
just about to say that. It's
you know,
a tall
if-
task.
if Hamzat is actually shows up, you know, he'll have a chance to win. But there's been so many long stretches of inactivity. We've seen Chimaev's potential, but like, is this like constantly? I'm pulling out. He's pulled out like what 3 fights in a row. Like that can't be good for. It's not just ring rust. It's like the mental preparation to get ready for a fight, and then it's off, and there's no like resolution to that, and then back on, or back off, you know. And so versus Whitaker, who's been extremely active. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how this goes down. I am worried for Whitaker if this does go to the scorecards because it is in Abu Dhabi, and I mean that's how the sport works, you know. Hometown fighters get an edge sometimes, so I think Whitaker might try and push the pace and try and knock him out, take the judges out of it.
This fight is like, I mean, you can tell by the odds, like it doesn't get out of the 100s. It's pretty much at pick'em odds. Really close fight. I also don't know which way this fight is gonna go. One of the things that sort of worries me about Khamzat is like, you know, he has pulled out, but like at least for 1 or 2 of those cancellations, like he's been like tremendously sick, like hospitalized. I feel like that has to take a toll on your body at some point. It's just, I mean, you know, he got hit bad with COVID, and then he had some other type of like viral infection that landed him in the hospital earlier this year too. I mean, I don't know how much more or how much a body can really take, like, you know, these life-threatening situations, and then preparing for a fight on top of. I mean, Khamzat, he could turn into one of these what if fighters. Like, what if he stayed healthy? Because man, when he's on, and he is really like, especially first round Khamzat, probably one of the more deadly fighters in the UFC.
So is that
in the first-
mythical status?
Yeah, I mean, Khamzat first round is. I'm gonna take him a few fights before he even got hit. It's sort of wild. I mean, it wasn't until the Burns fight where he accumulated. I think he finally surpassed double-digit significant punches received. So I mean, it's sort of crazy. But Chimaev, he has good chances in this fight. But I mean, Whitaker's my guy. I feel like I got to go with him. I'm gonna be nervous because I mean, I know Chimaev is live. I mean, he very well could win.
If Chimaev wins, would he be in line for the title shot for the winner of Duplessis and Strickland?
Yeah, they would fast track him
Probably.
100%.
Yeah, because that's another fight that they could do like in Abu Dhabi or Saudi Arabia. Like that's another one of their guys.
Imavov would lose his mind.
Yeah, Imavov needs to calm down.
He does need to calm down.
The top of this weight division is clogged.
The main event. Ilya Topuria, featherweight champion versus second-rated Max Holloway. Volkanovski is number 1 at the moment. 2 strikers. The way I've always looked at Max Holloway has been the way he moves, the way he fights. I look at him as like a waterbender in that fluidity, and then Topuria's like the fucking earthbender, just straight up blocks at your face. I think this is really fun. I think I mentioned that I don't have the same like attachment to Holloway as a lot of people do, because I haven't been watching that long. It's not that I don't like him or anything. I don't know, just seeing Topuria come into the throne, and then I would like to see him continue carrying it. Would be fun to see. Like, same thing with AP, seeing another champ carry their title for a while. I like to see it anyway. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you really hoping for everyone to just have a good time? Is that all we're hoping for?
I'll let Nathan go first.
I mean, yeah, I would like to see a knockout of some kind. That being said, I was a pretty big Volk fan, and Topuria went and knocked him out. And then he kind of acted like a dick afterwards. So I feel like there is a bit of payback coming his way. But also, I think it would be kind of poetic if the guy to avenge Volk's loss was the guy he had this epic trilogy with. And, you know, obviously Max is having this second career resurgence, right? He's coming off that insane, probably one of the best knockouts in UFC history against Justin Gaethje, a fight like he had on paper, no business winning. You know, the fight was first announced, we all looked at that and we were like, this is a terrible fight.
That. Yeah,
Max is going to get destroyed.
Yep.
And that's, you know, not what happened. So, you know, I'm definitely rooting for Max here, but like Topuria is the type of fighter that I want to see, right? Well-rounded. He's a tough to deal with striker. He's got well-rounded wrestling skills on top of that. He's not afraid of a firefight. So this should be an awesome fight, and I hope it delivers.
All right. So I agree with a lot of what Nathan just said. I think this is going to be a firefight, you know, and fireworks. Like, it's going to be an exciting fight. Two strikers, two elite strikers. And then the build up to this fight has been insane as well, especially considering what Holloway did earlier this year, and obviously what Topuria did earlier this year. Topuria has a really good chance, if he wins this fight, he could be on that UFC stardom level, you know, face of the company type things. This is just going to be an excellent fight. I've been with Topuria since his Jai Herbert fight, and every single fight that I see him in, it's sort of like Alex Perreira in a way, where he just finds a way to decimate his opponents, especially when, like, you know, he's well-rounded, like he's pretty educated on the ground, defensive takedowns or defensive grappling, I mean. And then his boxing is just really crisp. Like, I feel like even a lot of boxing fans, they haven't checked out Topuria, I feel like they would actually enjoy his fights. You would
like him, yeah.
Just because of his style. It's very nice, very smart fighting, and I mean, there's not a lot of fighters like him. I mean, this is one of the guys in the UFC you don't want to be trading with him. You want to be sort of jabbing away from the outside, because if he gets inside, there's a high likelihood he's gonna land a bomb on you. And there's, so far, for people that he's landed on, I think Josh Emmett excluded, he just crumbles fighters with his power. His power is legit. If he hits you, you're most likely going down. Yeah, this is one of those fights. I mean, Topuria's, he can crack your chin, but Max Holloway's chin has never been cracked in that way. I know he got knocked down by Justin Gaethje, a little flash knockdown.
That's
but
a guy's like a lot bigger than him, though.
Yeah, his chin has never really been cracked at featherweight. So this is, I mean, the storyline is there. Everything is set up for this fight to be amazing. That's what I think, and I think it will deliver. I don't think we'll get a disappointing fight here. And this is much like Alex Pereira's fights, one of those fights where you have to keep your eyes peeled. You cannot like look away. You know, your time to get food and drink is before this fight.
I'm thinking, with the recent boxing light heavyweight undisputed fight we had between Bivol and Beterbiev, I think that some people were misled into thinking with the phrase, maybe it's going to be a firefight. It was just going to be bombs away, fuckers throwing slugs, just nonstop. But that is absolutely not the case. It was two highly skilled and high IQ fighters trying their best to position themselves like in chess moves. You know what I mean? Strategic positioning. I'm thinking in this, Topuria versus Holloway, both solid strikers, like I gave them the Avatar fucking comparisons, that they're not, I don't, like you said, Isaac, that this isn't a guy, like Topuria is not a guy you want to stand and trade with, because if he gets close enough, like, he's probably gonna crumble you somehow. So I think that Holloway is very much a high IQ fighter, and he would be, I think, piecing him up from the outside if he could. Because does he have more range, or his reach? Is it longer?
I want to say his arms. Yeah, I want to say his arms are longer. Okay,
so that makes perfect sense. That is what I would recommend, I suppose. Because I know, Max, I know you're listening. Ilya, I'm trying to bring back the Spanish language show, so sorry. Reach is the same. 69.
Oh,
nice.
Damn, all right, yeah. I thought because like Max Holloway's like lankier. But...
Yeah, that's why when we were talking, like Nathan had said, we thought Gaethje was just gonna body Holloway because he seems like a more wiry dude. 42-inch leg reach versus 37, so that's a considerable difference. I think this is going to be exciting for more educated fans, I'll say, because it's not going to be. I don't think they're going to be like trading the way Holloway and Gaethje did the last 15 seconds of their fight. It's not going to be like that.
Yeah, you'll see good footwork. Like boxing fans should check this fight
Absolutely.
out. We're gonna see good fight. We're gonna see good footwork, good boxing. I mean, I spoke a lot about Topuria's boxing, but Max Holloway is a good boxer, an educated boxer in his own way, and he's exciting too, man.
I think the way Leo opened this with like the earth versus water bender, right? Where Topuria he is like the traditional boxer. That's like his footwork, his
Very
punch
much.
selection. He is, and versus Holloway, who's like he knows the boxing fundamentals, but he's more of a freestyle striker, and so he's not making it up as he goes along. Is not the right way to say it, but he is like, he's reacting to the moment, and he's
flowing.
just finding the punches. You're right. Yeah, he's finding the punches where they present themselves. And that's going to be a really fun style matchup. That's going to be so cool to watch play out.
Yeah. So I'm trying to temper expectations. Like, don't expect Gaethje Holloway final 10 seconds type of stuff. That's not what you're going to get. I don't think so anyway. I'm expecting this to be high-level chess. But
I got to ask, do you think Max is going to point to the ground at any point in this fight?
Of course he will. If he's behind,
I don't know.
he will.
I don't know if that'll
he's
go
up
well for
big,
him.
he will. I mean, the only reason that worked is because he knew he was up big, and he had Justin so figured out. I'd actually be kind of interested to see if Topuria points to the ground. If you're Topuria, you want to be in the pocket. That's where he's going to feel most natural. And his style of striking, like just the type of punches he's naturally going to throw, is going to deliver the knockout punch in that scenario if he lands.
It's the compact punches. That's why I thought he had a shorter reach. Just the way that they fight. Topuria seems like he would have shorter arms. The way that he tries to position himself in front of people. Versus Holloway, who can use, I thought, had a longer reach and uses that and keeps people at the end of it. But they're the same. Yeah. So that really does kind of change the dynamic for me a little bit.
Yeah, I guess that speaks to like how nice and tight Topuria keeps his boxing.
Yeah, he's one of him and Aspinall, I say they could cross over if they wanted to, and they could be pretty successful.
Yeah, I mean, Topuria has really nice boxing. They've done a really good job promoting this fight too. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen like the interviews they've been doing. But I mean, Topuria, during one of the interviews where they were letting him just like talk whatever they wanted to say to each other, Topuria mentioned to Holloway that he wants Holloway to point to the ground, but instead of the last 10 seconds, he wants him to point at the ground in the first 10 seconds of the fight. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if Topuria like taps the ground or points to the ground, I feel like he could goad Max into trading, like, because Max is just that, like, he's that type of fighter where he's done it with Dustin Poirier. He's done it with Justin Gaethje. He did it with another fight I can't remember, but I mean, this is just one of his things. I feel like he will accept that challenge if Topuria does it to him.
Do you think
like,
his brain would be blocked by his balls wanting to step up to it?
Yeah, I mean, because Max, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Max, because this is a title shot, and I feel like Max is going to take this very seriously. But Max is the fighter's fighter. I feel like he could, if someone challenges him like that, I feel like he might, like, in his own mind, like, be like forced to accept the challenge type thing. But I mean, he might be taking this like super seriously, like different than his other fights, because I mean, this could be. I mean, I don't know. He's not like ancient, but he's had a long career, taken a lot of shots. I mean, this could be one of his last title shots in the UFC. So I mean, I don't know. He might be taking this like super seriously, and like he may decide to just stick to his game plan, whatever it is.
Would be the better move.
That would be the smarter move, 100%. Because I mean, like you said, Leo. I mean, I feel like that that standing toe to toe, I feel like that only benefits Ilya.
Yep. I don't think being up close and personal is a good idea for anyone facing Topuria. And one of the big problems is he's really good at getting up close and personal. Why is Holloway listed as number... Oh, fucking lightweight, right? Wait, he's listed as number 8. But that's because he just fought in lightweight.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, he should be number 2.
All right. Well, woof. The odds right now are minus 218. It's a weird number. For Topuria, plus 180 for Holloway.
Yeah. If Topuria manages to knock out Holloway, that'll be a crazy thing to see, like Holloway unconscious on the floor, just because we've never seen that before. Oh
man, I think that is all we got. Is there anything I might have missed? Because I do miss news from time to time.
Nothing concrete.
I think that's it. Yeah, just outside of the UFC 310 announcements, there hasn't been a whole lot going.
Yeah, everything else is speculation, nothing confirmed.
All right, then. Thanks for listening to this episode of The Ultimate FN Casual, a Lux Media production. If you'd like to give your thoughts, or you need to let us know how terrible you think our takes are, you can be a lame and text our anonymous line, 833-589-7637. If you want to stand on business, call, leave a voice message, and we'll see if you're entertaining enough to make the final cut of the show. 833-LUX-PODS. Can't go wrong. If you prefer to hit us up on social media, the account name is LVX Media Net, all one word. That's on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and all the rest of that shit. If you can't find us, chances are that we're not on it. A lot of stuff gets cut out from the final releases for all kinds of reasons. So if you want the raw audio, exactly as it's recorded, look us up on Patreon. LVX Media Net over there, just like everywhere else. Even if you don't sign up on Patreon, you can still help us out a lot if you hit us with a rating on whatever app you're listening on. If you're not feeling a $5, you have our number, or you can slide into the DMs. Let us know how we can earn that full $5. The intro and outro music are by Middle of Nowhere Beats. And for more shows like the one you just listened to, go to lvxmedia.net. Put the stuff there. Heading into UFC 308. Parting words.
Go, Max, go.
For me, I'm going to say everyone needs to tune in for this. This is like one of the better like UFC events this year. And this is a universe. Everyone can enjoy the main event. It's a great fight. A great fight.
All right. Totally agree.
Then that's going to do it for this edition of The Ultimate Fucking Casual. We will be back in your feeds soon. Maybe we'll be cleaned up that time. See you next time.
See you.